Welcome to another episode of Life Distilled. I'm Cobey Williamson, founder of MicroShiner, and I'm really excited to be back here doing another episode of the webcast with everybody. It's been quite a few weeks since I've done one, and I hope you've enjoyed the distillery visits that the other host of Life Distilled, Brian Carey, has been bringing to you all. He's been all over the country, from where he lives in California in Healdsburg, over to Atlanta, out to Boulder, up to Portland. Sat down with a lot of great distillers who had some amazing stories, and I really hope that everybody has really been enjoying that. Hope you check those out. Give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, let us know what you think, because as we all know, social currency is everything in the big Google, Apple algorithm in the sky net, as it were. So first things first, as always, I've got some craft spirits here to start things off. We won't get into it today, but I've been working through a little bit of a health problem, so I've scaled back my alcohol consumption, which is why I'm stoked that I only drink craft, because that way when I do imbibe, I know I'm always getting the cleanest, tastiest, highest quality spirits, wine, cider, beer that I can get my hands on, which I think is way important, and it's one of the big value propositions of craft, at least for me. Anyway, so what I got here today, it's that time of year in western Montana, North Idaho probably, BC, Alberta, so we got the huckleberries. We went out and picked some of those ourselves. And in the spirit of that, we have some Vilya Spirits wild huckleberry liqueur. I'm just going to keep this really simple because this stuff is so good. I want to just, let it play the whole and premiere role. So what we're going to do is just, of course, we got our friends out at Hillbilly Stills hooking us up with the swag. We're just going to do, whoa, spilled some of the nectar. No. We're going to do an ounce of that. Top that off with just some of your standard Pellegrino. Take it right up there so that the hat's covered. And then just for good measure, probably should have muddled a few of these in there, but put a couple of actual huckleberries in there. Cheers, everybody. Oh yeah, that's super good. Super good. Highly recommend that. Gonna move this over here. Actually, take a real quick moment. Kind of put these things in wrong order, but of course we always have our neat glass. If you don't know about the neat glass, you need to check it out. It's the way to taste spirits. So just going to put a little teaser of that in there. Set that over here so everybody can see. And this glass is scientifically designed so that when you nose, you don't get your nose burned by the alcohol. And you can really get the full flavor of the spirits. Oh yeah, really good, really good. Comes through a little hot, more than I expected. I haven't tried this straight yet, but still outstanding. And when you do it like this or use it in a cocktail like I've done before, it is phenomenal. So again, cheers everyone. So if you've listened to any of the episodes that I've hosted or read any of the pieces on our website or on Medium, then you know that Life Distilled really is about distilling your life down to what is most important to you personally and focusing on the things that really have value for you and give you purpose. One of the things for me is sustainability in general and climate change in particular. And what we, as the pivotal generation, the ones who have a chance of actually changing the tide and doing something about it, what we're going to do, pretty much in all seriousness, to save the human species from extinction. Now, people can argue all day long about whether or not human beings, people are causing global warming and climate change, how bad it's going to be, whether we should care, do anything about it. But honestly, I'm not going to waste my time with all that. If you want to hear that conversation, I recommend that you check out the interview with Dr. Stephen Running, Life Distilled, which is literally the most important episode that we've done so far. For our purposes here today, we're just going to acknowledge that this is a fact and discuss some of the ways that we can affect it without having to just completely give up everything that mankind has done so far to make living pretty completely comfortable compared to, say, the Middle Ages or ancient Egypt. One of my premises, one of the things I've always based MicroShiner around, is that doing things at the local level, the micro scale, is a step towards a balanced, sustainable, zero-carbon civilization. And I really believe that. That's why I'm into craft, why MicroShiner only promotes craft and micro and independent companies and in craft and micro handcrafted products. But we acknowledge that that just really isn't even feasible or even desirable in every sector. And one place that you can't exactly have a craft micro business is clothing, especially cotton clothing. Now, there's some other fibers that you can almost do at the local cottage level. People have been doing for millennia. Wool being the one that really leaps to mind. If you want to check out some incredible people, they're doing amazing stuff by hand, pretty much the same way as they were doing it since the dawn of time. Check out the yarn makers and the weavers and people that sew jackets and make Harris tweed. When it comes to cotton, stuff that we almost all wear, yeah, it gets a little bit more challenging. Cotton's a huge part of our economy. More than 100 countries grow cotton. They use about 3% of the world's arable land to do so. Producing cotton is very chemical intensive. Between 15 and 25% of all the insecticide used on crops around the world is used to grow cotton. Also, growers apply about 500 million tons of chemical fertilizer to cotton each year in order to grow it. That's chemicals that can get into our water, get into the food chain, basically, that are going to get into us. And it has a huge impact on the environment, the world at large, and it's a contributor to all the issues that the world and humanity face. We all wear it. It's very prolific, and it's a place where we need to turn our attention to. It's something that came to my attention in about 1995. I'd gone on this walkabout, visiting friends down south, back east. And when I got back to Montana, I was at my brother's place in Missoula, where he's going to the University of Montana. My brother Jeb, he was always into outdoor recreation, skiing, hiking, backpacking. He was pretty green. He's the greenest, crunchiest girl I know. And so naturally, he was big into Patagonia. He had Patagonia equipment, and he was a fan of the brand. And sitting on his desk was this catalog, and I picked it up and I started looking at it. And I was before I knew it, I was at the end of the thing, cover to cover. I'd read the entire thing, and the entire catalog essentially was about how they were switching to organic cotton, how they're moving their whole cotton line. Anything that was made with cotton was going to be organic cotton, and I was just sold. They knew it was going to cut into their profit margin. They knew that their product was going to get more expensive. They're going to lose customers. But they were committed, and they did it, never looked back, and I've been buying their clothes pretty much exclusively ever since because I couldn't find any other organic cotton companies. Because finding organic cotton clothing is a challenge. It really isn't that easy, and for a long time, the only brand that I knew that you could actually even get it from was Patagonia, and so I bought mostly just their clothes. I couldn't get my undershirts. It was challenging. I couldn't get my undershirts. At first, they weren't making jeans. They weren't making pants of any kind. So I was still having to buy Levi's or what have you. Still having to buy Fruit of the Loom or whatnot. But since a lot of other companies have come on board and things have been changing, things have been moving, and it's super exciting. I've been really thrilled to see new brands coming out and finding new lines of organic cotton clothing. One I'm onto is Packed out of Boulder. They do undershirts and socks, which is just so great because that's something that I need. because really I dress kind of business casual when I'm not doing this. Kind of my side hustle is to work in wildland fire management, and I work in an office setting, and dressing business casual is how I kind of need to roll, because you never know when the news cameras are going to roll in. And I think there's a lot of people out there. I think there's a ton of people in the world who would absolutely buy organic cotton if the style wasn't necessarily geared around that outdoor recreation lifestyle. Maybe more conservative styles. And so I was sitting in the office and I was thinking about, boy, I mean, okay, I got Patagonia, I got Pact. It sure would be nice if J. Crew had organic cotton clothing. So had some time on the computer and I started surfing around a little bit, and I found a number of companies and reached out to them all. And one of those companies that I found was Toad and Company. And so Toad and Company is a brand started out in Denver, maybe not Denver, but in Colorado. I'm sorry, I think it was Telluride. And they were making knit hats, Horny Toad back in the 90s. You probably remember them. And they just kept doubling down on their core values, doubling down on their core philosophy, making sustainable clothing. And they reached a point where now almost their entire line is sustainable fibers, recycled fibers, organic cotton, some new fibers. It's super great. So I hit them up, and they were very gracious, and I mean, really, because they want to see things move forward, sent me a few samples to share with you guys. And so let's get into that. Really excited. Again, the thing that I asked them was, what can you send me that a person could wear to the office? And that's exactly what they did. They started out with, because this is MicroShiner, obviously, and how can you pass on a shirt called the Cuba Libre? So classic button-down style, exactly what you would wear into the office on a fall day. Subtle muted colors. Again, one of the things that I do think that we need to try to see some movement on is bringing some of the more standard conservative colors, your RGB, your RB give, or what have you, colors, bringing that in, because not everybody wants to go with the more subdued, earthy tones, and we just really need to see more entrance into the space. But Toad is bringing it, the thing that I always love, and maybe it's just me, and I'm just making this up, but the cotton is always so soft. Build quality is right there. All the stitching is beautiful. Really a big fan of this. Can't wait to wear it, give it a try, report back on how it wears, how it shrinks, and all those things. Again, the Cuba Libre, if I'd have been smart, instead of this lovely Huckleberry Liqueur, I'd have set us up with a Cuba Libre. But when I report back, maybe sporting some of this stuff, we'll make that happen. I didn't have any craft rum on hand, although Whitefish Spirits up out of Whitefish, Montana, makes this amazing spiced rum that we had on the Timber Tech podcast, so check that out. If you're going to have a shirt, you got to have a pair of trousers. Classic khaki style. This is the Mission Ridge pant. Just what you'd expect for business casual, wear to the office. Of course, Toad's one of those companies that's, right from the trail, right from the office onto the trail. That wasn't so much our intent, but obviously you could certainly do that here. What we were really looking for was, can I wear this into the college classroom, first year professor, and not have everybody going, who's this guy? Hopefully they'll be saying, who's this guy? Where did he get those clothes? Toad and Company. One of the few organic cotton khakis that I've been able to find, and certainly something everybody should check out. This is the piece that got me the most excited when I opened the box and I saw this. I was just thrilled, because I know what people are going to say, but I love Tumblr, and I follow a number of blogs on there.
And one thing that I keep seeing recurring that I just always love is these iconic images of JFK, Steve McQueen, all those classic mid-century guys, black and white photos, and they're wearing the crew neck, heather gray sweatshirt. I know hoodies are all the thing for the last 10, 15 years, but where I think it really is at is this crew neck. Dress it up, wear a collar underneath, button down underneath, wear it underneath the blazer. There's this iconic picture, as I said, JFK, he's out sailing, wearing the crew neck, Ray-Bans. Probably looks like the coolest guy of all time. And just a look that I aspire to, a clean, classic look. And when I saw this come out, I was just so excited because I was literally looking for exactly this kind of piece, and to find it in organic cotton, what better thing than that? There it is. I can't wait to get into this. Let you guys know how it fits, how it all works out. Got a little recycled plastic water bottles, soda bottles in that one. Again, doing whatever it takes to try to kind of clean up, improve, set the stage for change, everything that we've done in the last couple centuries. So that kind of sums it up. I want to thank everybody that was a part of this particular episode. Vilya Spirits makes a great absinthe out of Kalispell, Montana. Obviously, this Huckleberry Liqueur. It's Huckleberry season. Come to Montana, mid-July, early August. Go up in the hills at about 5,000 feet, and you'll find those huckleberry bushes. There's some lower, so not too much higher than that, but one of the tastiest little things you'll ever find sitting on a bush in the woods. I'm also looking for craft sparkling, craft club soda. Somebody reach out, let me know. Toad & Company. I mean, they're setting the standard. We need more people on board. If you can't get J. Crew to make the switch, Toad's got your back. Literally, they'll be on your back. Check out their line, because we have to make the move to organic cotton if we're going to do cotton at all. And it's certainly a better choice than clothing made out of a barrel of oil. Cotton, wool, and other natural fibers are, without a doubt, in my opinion, much preferable to synthetic, and certainly where we ought to be investing. And I'm just excited to be a part of what Toad & Company and these other companies are doing around organic cotton, and I give them my full support. Also, how about a little support for the podcast? I sure hope that everybody's enjoying what we're doing, and they give us a thumbs up, comments, share it with your friends. It's the social currency. It's the currency of our time. Don't ever want to spend too much time talking about likes and shares and those things, but that's how the word gets spread. I want the word to get out about Toad & Company, about Vilya Spirits, about the Neat Glass, about Hillbilly Stills, and all these people that are on the local level, on the small level, and then, like in Toad's case, the large level, trying to change the world for the better. So tell people about the podcast, about the webcast, spread the word. Cheers.